Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So in today's build we're actually going to be building a couple of apartment blocks, and I'm actually doing this for my save file for my rebuild Newcrest project. So yeah, this will be in the save file, and this is actually going to be a kind of like university student apartment block kind of thing. So basically all of these apartments are actually going to be student housing, and I'm actually going to be building 8 different apartments. So there's 4 of these, like, I guess blocks, I guess you could say. So it's kind of like a little apartment or I guess development complex kind of thing, and there's these 4 different buildings, and each building has 2 apartments in it. So there's an apartment downstairs and then upstairs. So all in all there's like 8 different apartments, and I'm actually only going to be fully furnishing 4 of them. So yeah, I'm going to be fully furnishing 1 of each block, if that makes sense. So 1 apartment in each little like block house type thing, and yeah, I'm only going to be fully furnishing those 4 because I actually created 4 different Sims that are actually going to be living in here in my save file. So I will put a picture of them up on the screen so that you guys know who I'm talking about. But basically 4 of them are like fully furnished, and it has all of like different decorations in it, and it's kind of decorated for the specific Sims that I've created and their like mages and their personalities and you know, all of that stuff. And then the other 4 are just like very basic and very like, I guess, generic. So kind of just, it's functional, everything is functional. So there's a mini fridge in all of them. Obviously all of the bathrooms are completely done, and then there's a bed, and I think a bed, a desk, a dresser, all of that stuff, and then just a couch. And I think I even put in a TV in all of the units. So yeah, it should be fully functional. So if you want to go ahead and like download this and play in it, and you don't want to live in one of the apartments that I've kind of like personalized for my Sims, and you just want to go ahead and live in one of the other ones and, you know, decorate it for your Sim, then you should be able to easily do that. You know, just add in a few different colors, or maybe just swap around some of the furniture pieces, add in different couches, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing today. And this apartment is actually, I guess, I keep wanting to say this apartment, but it's technically student housing. In the game it's set up as student housing. But yeah, so this student like housing development thing lot, I guess I could just call it, I'll just call it a student lot or university lot or apartment lot, or you know, whatever this actually is basically I can't speak, I can't like finish words apparently, and sentences are just really hard at the moment. But yeah, so basically this build is affiliated, that's the word, affiliated with the Foxbury Institute University. So when you're building student housing in the game, you have to set it to be affiliated with either Foxbury or Brightchester. You can't have a, I guess, student housing development thing that's like for both universities at the same time. You kind of have to choose one or the other. So only Sims that are going to Foxbury can actually live here. And yeah, all 4 of the Sims that I've created are all enrolled in Foxbury. They all have different majors that they're doing and all of that stuff. So yeah, all of that will be set for the save file. But you can easily go in if you want to download this and maybe use it for Brightchester, for example. You can download it, go into build by, and then in the drop down menu on like the left hand side, you know, where you decide what lot type it is, all of that stuff, you can set the affiliation to be Foxbury or Brightchester. And you can even go further and set the affiliation to be, you know, specifically only for certain clubs. Maybe it's only for, you know, the Spirit Squad of Foxbury, or the Brainiacs, or, you know, the Bot Savants or something like that, or like the Debate Club, all of that stuff. You can set it to be for specific clubs as well. I believe you can even do that for like game clubs that you've created, so like the Paragons, for example. And yeah, so you can do that. You can, you know, change all of that up to fit with, you know, what you want it to be for. And yeah, in my game I just have it set up to be for Foxbury. You can even set it to be like for specific genders, so like male or female, if you want to build maybe like a sorority or a fraternity or something like that. then that's totally possible. I'm actually playing around with the idea of creating a sorority and a fraternity in like my save for Brightchester, and you know, trying to build something like that. I'm thinking about trying that, but yeah, so yeah, that's something that's really cool and really easily, it's something that you can really easily change up if that's something that you wanted to change. But yeah, in my game, like I said, it's just set up for Foxbury, and then the 4 different sims that I have living here are actually in 3 of the different clubs that actually came with Discover University, and that are actually part of the Foxbury University. So yeah, both of the universities have their own like clubs that your sims, or like actually I think in the game it's called organizations. Yeah, so the clubs are the ones that you can make yourself that came with Get Together, but in like university it's actually called organizations. And in Foxbury they have the Spirit Squad, the Bot Savant, and the Brainiacs, I think. So yeah, 3 of the sims are actually in those 3 like organizations. And yeah, so just I quickly want to say, because I'm noticing that I'm doing this a lot, I'm really stumbling over my words. It's like actually it's almost 2 a.m. and I had a Monster energy drink about like 2 hours ago, so I'm a little bit hyper. And I haven't recorded a voiceover since Tuesday. Yeah, I haven't recorded a voiceover since Tuesday, or any kind of video since Tuesday. And yeah, it's currently Friday, technically Saturday morning. But yeah, so I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm a little bit hyper, and apparently I can't like form proper sentences when I'm this hyper and like excited and all over the place. So yeah, please just bear with me. Sorry that I'm like this basically. But yeah, so going back to the build, the first apartment that we're furnishing, since we're furnishing 4 of them, the first one that we're furnishing is actually for Bobby Hutchins. Now, Bobby and her twin brother Spencer actually both live in this like apartment complex. They both go to Foxbury. They're twins, so obviously they're the same age and all of that stuff. And they're actually the 2 sims that are like the brunettes in the picture that's on the screen, and they're both wearing red and very into school spirit and all of that stuff. But Bobby is actually in the Spirit Squad, so she's really into like school spirit, all of that stuff. She's also really into mixology and throwing parties and all of that stuff. She's very charismatic and very outgoing and all of that stuff. And she's actually studying economics, so yeah, she's also very smart. So in my head, she's very much like business, you know, business oriented. Maybe she wants to own her own business someday, maybe being like a startup company or something like that. Either way, she studies economics. And then the second apartment that we're going to be furnishing, I'm just going to tell you guys about them like right off the bat before I go off on too many tangents. But yeah, we're going to be furnishing for, like I said, 4 different apartments. I'm not showing you any of the bathrooms, because they're all like, basically the 2 apartments on the back of the lot, I guess I should say. So the 2 at the back, like the 2 apartment buildings, I guess I should say, at the back are mirrors of each other, and then the 2 at the front are mirrors of each other. So basically the bottom floor apartments are mirrored, and then the top floors are mirrored. There's basically 4 different layouts in this this build. So there's 4 different apartment layouts. The 2 at the bottom, yeah, the back 2 bottom ones, the front 2 bottom ones, the upstairs back 2 ones, and then the front like upstairs ones. I don't know. It's really, I don't know. I'm explaining this really, really badly. Basically, all of the apartments are mirrors of each other. So all of the bathrooms are exactly the same, you know, for the ones that are mirrored, obviously. And yeah, they all have the exact same furniture in them. They all have the exact same decorations in them. I think I went in and changed up a couple of the towel colors for the 4 different apartments that I kind of like personalized. So yeah, they'd have different colored towels in them, but that's literally the only thing that's different. So yeah, I don't show any of the bathrooms. I do show the bathrooms at the end in the screenshots though. If you really want to see them, then yeah, just stick around to the end of the screenshots. But yeah, each apartment actually has its own little like living room, sitting area, its own kitchen, bathroom, and then obviously its own bedroom. Now the kitchens, obviously, because these are student houses, you can't have either a grill or a proper stove in any of the student housing lots. That's just how the game is set up. That's just a game, like, I guess not requirement, but yeah, kind of, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of the right words apparently. But yeah, apparently that's just something in the game because, yeah, for some reason you don't have stoves or ovens in student housing. I don't know if that's a, like, American thing or if it's like that in other parts of the world, but where I live, and if you have, like, off-campus student housing especially, so obviously dorm rooms probably wouldn't have a, like, stove in them or anything like that. But if you live off campus in like an apartment like this is, for example, then you would definitely have a stove in your apartment. Even if it's just like a small two plate stove or something like that, you would definitely be able to make your own food and like actually make proper food, not just stuff that you put in a microwave. So yeah, it's just, I don't know if that's a very American thing or if it's like that in other places, but where I'm from, this isn't normal. But anyway, none of the like kitchens actually have stoves, but they all have microwaves and coffee makers and their little mini fridges and stuff like that. The bottom two apartments at the back, so the one where Bobby lives and then the other mirrored one, they actually have full fridges. So I don't know why that is. I just like the way that looked. It kind of looked like those apartments are maybe a little bit more expensive than the other ones because they have a full fridge, not just a mini fridge. But yeah, so those are basically all of the like amenities that all of the apartments have. And then obviously I like personalized 4 of them to fall more in line with the personalities and the skills and majors of the Sims that I will have living there. But yeah, so we've moved on to the second apartment, and this apartment is actually for, what's his name? Oh yeah, Lucius Cole. And he's actually in the villain, like in the villainy major. So yeah, he's studying to be a villain. In my head, he's very much like, he's not a like comical, I don't know, he's not really like comical Disney type villain with like trying to be a like world, I don't know, he's not trying to go into the whole like world domination, evil mastermind kind of comical route. In my head, he's more like, I don't know how to put this that would make it not family friendly, but not super explicit. I just sat here laughing because I have a whole like backstory in my head for him that I can't really explain in the video. But basically, think like Italian, like, or yeah, think like mafia type thing. He's more like that, if you know what I mean. So yeah, basically he's into villainy. He's actually, and I think his traits are like evil, outgoing, and something else. Yeah, he's definitely a genius. I know I made him a genius, but yeah, he's like evil, a genius, and I think his third trait is outgoing. But in my head, he's like he's kind of a little bit of a serial romantic. He's super into fitness and all of that stuff. So I kind of wanted his apartment to reflect that a little bit. I figured, you know, he probably doesn't spend too much time here. He probably doesn't spend too much time sleeping when he's here. He doesn't really sleep in his apartment. He just is where it has all of his stuff in it, but he doesn't really sleep here, if that makes sense. But anyway, so yeah, that's Lucius's apartment. And then the third apartment that we're going to be working on is actually one of the upstairs apartments. So I furnished 2 of them downstairs and then 2 of them upstairs. And obviously, like I said, they're all like, I furnished one in each of the 4 buildings. So the next one that we're going to be furnishing is actually for Bobby's twin brother, Spencer. And he's actually in the computer sciences major. He's studying computer sciences. He's kind of like a gamer, and I also figured he would be in the Brainiacs organization in Foxbury, so he would be part of the Brainiacs. He's super into gaming, like I said, super smart, and he and his sister really get along very well. They're both, like I said, very smart. She's obviously studying economics, and he's studying computer sciences. So yeah, his apartment is going to have a lot of like gaming stuff in it, and I had a lot of fun with his apartment. He actually has a very expensive TV, and I figured he would have, you know, a lot of his friends come over and play like console, video games, all of that stuff. So yeah, I had a lot of fun furnishing his apartment and just decorating it with a bunch of like collectible like figurines and all of those things that kind of make me think of, you know, gamer things that we like collecting, if that makes sense. So yeah, that would be his apartment, and he has a really big, nice couch. He and Bobby actually have two of the biggest apartments. So the two apartment buildings at the back are both a little bit bigger than the two at the front. So the two at the front only have like single beds in all of the bedrooms, whereas the two at the back actually have double beds in the bedrooms. And I believe they also have the biggest bathrooms as well. And yeah, so they're a little bit more expensive, because in my head I figured that Bobby and Spencer would obviously come from a little bit more of a wealthy family, so maybe they have a little bit more expensive housing in the university and they can afford to pay a little bit more. Because yeah, this like a community, not community, but this student housing, like the prices for them, if you actually enroll your students, your Sims in university and have them pay for their housing, it's actually quite expensive. I don't have any other student housing in my game that's as expensive as this is. So both of the like two tower like dorm buildings that I built for Brightchester, for Foxbury specifically, the Tidal Tower, and I can't remember the other one, but I'll leave them linked on the screen in case you want to go ahead and watch them. Both of them are actually, I believe, something like in the 700 simoleons if you want to like live there for a semester. But with this one, it's actually between 1,000 and 1,300 simoleons per semester if you want to live here. So yeah, it's a lot more expensive, but I figured, you know, that would make sense because these are actual like full apartments. They're not just a dorm, like a dorm room that you're renting and you have like communal like living spaces and all of that stuff. These are actually like full apartments, if that makes sense. They just happen to be affiliated with the university. I mean, you could easily, if you don't want these to be affiliated with any of the universities, then just turn these into a residential lot. If you just want to play with like one family, turn it into a residential lot, delete everything in all of the other apartments and just have, you know, one apartment furnished. And then you have a very nice kind of like small micro apartment if you just want to live in one of them. Obviously you would like renovate the kitchen and put in a stove and stuff. But yeah, you could easily turn these into actual like regular apartments if you wanted to. I think that would be very cool and very nice and kind of fun to play in as well if that's something that you'd like to do. But yeah, so that definitely makes sense about, you know, why it would be a little bit more expensive. So yeah, like I said, this also, I don't think I said this actually. I'm a little bit all over the place and I already can't remember what I talked about earlier. But yeah, this build is in Newcrest. I do think I mentioned that. So I'm actually going to be building, obviously, this student housing lot in Newcrest for Foxbury. And then in, I think, Windenburg, I'm actually going to be building a student housing lot for Brightchester. So I don't know, I wanted something more in each, like, I wanted to have more student housing in different worlds rather than just having them concentrated in Brightchester. I don't know, that's just something that I really liked. I really like the idea of that. Maybe your Sims, you know, want to move out of their houses, you know, where they grew up once they go to university, and maybe they want to move into student housing, but they don't necessarily want to move to Brightchester. Or maybe you just don't want to play in Brightchester, and maybe you want to play with a Sim in Newcrest that's going to university, or like in Windenburg, but also have them go to university and not live in a house. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. I can't wait to get started on that one. I already have ideas for the Brightchester one, but I don't know exactly when I'll be posting it because I haven't started it yet. But yeah, so we've moved on to the fourth and final apartment that we're going to be furnishing. The fourth apartment is actually for Sydney Myers, and she's actually a physics major, and I figured she would be in the bot savants. And so yeah, she's really into robotics, but she's also very into wellness. So that's the Sim with the pink hair on the screen. And yeah, she's very athletic as well, but she's not really athletic in the sense that she's into sports and like football and all of that stuff. She's more athletic in the sense that she's into wellness and maybe like jogging and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be her. And just ignore what I'm doing at the moment with her like closet space. That actually all ends up going away, and actually end up putting in a robotic station in her bedroom, which is a little bit much, if you know, but it's a little bit big of a thing to have in an apartment, especially a student apartment. It doesn't really make sense. But I figured, you know, since they don't live in Brightchester, it would be a little bit harder for her to pop over to campus and pop over to like the student building in not Brightchester, in Brightchester, but in Foxbury, the university, to like do robotics. So she has one in her apartment, and she can still do her robotics even when she isn't on campus. So yeah, that's really fun. And that's basically all of the apartments. Now, there are a couple of other things that I wrote down that I wanted to talk about in case I didn't have enough things to say about the apartments themselves. But apparently we're almost done with this video. I can't believe I managed to talk for like 21 minutes, and I actually talked about the like build for most of that time, so that's an accomplishment. Usually I go off on 100 different tangents when I do voiceovers, but yeah, fair warning. The next like 3 minutes will probably be me talking about everything other than the actual build. So if you want to mute me, or you know, just want to hear me talking about the build, then the rest of this voiceover probably won't be the best thing for you to listen to. But yeah, so something else that I wanted to mention that was actually really cool, and something that I did this week that was a very big like personal, like I guess personal achievement for me, I guess I could say, is the fact that on Wednesday I actually posted my first ever face cam video. So if you guys follow me over on Twitter or Instagram or any other social medias, you already know what I look like. I have posted pictures on Twitter and Instagram and all of that stuff of me before, so it's not like it's a face reveal or anything like that. But I've never done a video with my face in it. So actually doing a full-on face cam video on Wednesday was a really big thing for me, and I actually did that video going over all of the information and stuff that we got in Tuesday's Maxis Monthly. So it was kind of like a reaction and a talking about, you know, the story progression feature that we're going to be getting. So yeah, story progression is coming to The Sims, and it's actually called like neighborhood stories for whatever weird reason. But yeah, I will leave a link to that video on the screen and in the description in case you want to go ahead and check that out and learn a little bit more about what story progression will be like in The Sims 4, because I'm really excited about it, and I'm really excited to see them actually expand on it and work on it more. And then also, we also got a update about, not really an update, but we got information that I actually didn't mention in that video because I completely forgot. But they actually told us that in January of 2022, we're going to be getting some more information about a pronouns update that they're actually working on. So adding like non-binary pronouns and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's something that I'm also really excited to know more about. But like I said, I will leave a link to that video in the description and on the screen in case you want to go ahead and check it out. But yeah, we're almost done with the build. So if you want to download this build, it is up on the gallery. I will have all of the gallery information like the hashtags, my gallery ID, all of that will be in the description, as well as a direct download link to the online gallery website. And then obviously the tray files will go up for channel members. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And remember to turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll talk to you all in my very next video. Bye everyone!
I'm holding on, if almost gone. Someday I know I'll finally make it through the gates. Just have to wait. You whisper to me there's no maybe. There's only time for dreams even greater. I hear the call, and I close my eyes to see even clearer. I see it all. I know that we can go higher if we keep our faith, if we keep our faith. Sometimes I'm like a whisper in a ride. stronger, keep believing in me.